McDonald's, they are experiencing a lot of backlash with regard to their food prices. Take a look.
A few dollars could purchase a quick meal at a fast food rrestaurant.
I think people should be able to eat good food without spending much money.
But these days, grabbing a burger and fries takes a much bigger bite out of your wallet.
Why are we not talking about these fast food restaurants going up too?
Almost $9 for a Big Mac.
Once home to the dollar menu, prices at the Golden Arches leaving a bad taste in the mouth of consumers who just want value. Going viral, the Big Mac meal priced at $18 at a Connecticut rest stop, and an Egg McMuffin selling for more than $7. Fast food companies are listening. McDonald's CEO says he's focusing on affordability this year.
2 McChicken and a medium Sprite for only $3.
Telling analysts that customers making $45,000 a year and less are ditching their Mickey D's and buying groceries instead. You can see why. The price of food at home rose just 1.3% over the past year, but food away from home jumped more than 5%.
They're here. McDonald's best burgers ever.
Brands like McDonald's rolling out upgrades to its famous burgers and hoping its new Cosmics franchise will help bring customers back.
I think one way consumers can kind of really find themselves going back in the door of some of these QSR fast food restaurants is finding out what brought them there to begin with. McDonald's did this last year. They started to bring nostalgia back.
Taco Bell was like the one place where you could actually stretch that money.
And Taco Bell expanding its value menu to 10 items under $3. The company remains dedicated to offering our fans delicious food at affordable prices.
Do you guys know why prices are exploding amongst McDonald's? And it's not just McDonald's. It's really everything. It's not just restaurants. It's not just McDonald's. But let's just talk about the fast food industry in general. Do you guys know why these prices are exploding in the first place? But one of the reasons why it's exploding is because you guys wanted wage hikes. And they have to continue to pass that price over into the consumer. And so when you advocate for these things, what you thought that the prices were going to stay the same? You thought that they wasn't going to pass that price over to the consumer? Do you think that people are going to not go to McDonald's? People are not going to go back to home and start to cook anymore. Let me tell you something. It's very, very, very difficult to create a new habit. Incredibly hard for people to consistent. They might do it in revolt at first, but in a general sense, most people are going to continue to do what they was already doing. They're not going to switch up. They're not going to change. They're not going to start cooking at home. They're going to just adjust, and they're going to add that price into the price of whatever it takes for them to continue to exist within a society. But the reality is that you still going to go get your Egg McMuffin in the morning. You still going to go get your Big Mac. You still going to get your large Coke with fries. You're no longer going to be a dollar millionaire, but you still going to have to deal with it. But when you start to pass that cost over, the cost of living in general becomes more expensive. Inflation or local inflation, inflation for you in your life specifically, it explodes. When you have to pay people more, when you have to spend more on training, when you have to spend more to protect your business, when you got to spend more to insure your business, when you got to spend more on payroll taxes, when you got to spend more on this and that and improving the facility and security guards and, you know, whatever, this, that, whatever, so on and so forth. Eventually that hits you. And so then they have to spend more money on making sure that they do research and development so that they can try to figure out how to remove the employees and then keep the costs relatively flat by not having as many people to pay. And that takes innovation to do, right? So when you think about it, regardless of what you do, even when you go to the grocery store, it's still high. It's still high. Everything at the grocery store is high. I see people complaining all the time. Oh my God, I went to the grocery store and I only got 7 items and my bill is $80. It's still high. It's still high as far as how it is that you live your life. So that's McDonald's. Also happening over here in Quick Hits, NYCHA employees are arrested for bribery over in New York. Take a look at this, y'all.
Dozens of city employees arrested in a massive bribery investigation. NYCHA workers accused of taking millions of dollars from contractors in exchange for awarding projects. Good evening, I'm Dick Brennan.
And I'm Dana Tyler. The bribery case involves 70 current and former NYCHA employees.
Look at that boy right there. What happened to that boy? What happened to that boy? Look at that boy right there. Got the typical braids, got the hair, got the handcuffs, the metal bracelets, probably got a Nike sweatshirt on. Yeah, you fit the description. All he needed some black Air Forces. If I could see what his shoes was, he would fit the description of exactly the type of person that would take a bribe in order to get a contract popping.
But 4 of them are being held on $50,000 bond tonight.
Prosecutors say it's the largest single-day bribery takedown in the history of the Justice Department. CBS 2's Jennifer Bisram joins us live from the courthouse with more. Jen.
Hi, Dick and Dana. 70 NYCHA employees, both former and current, were arrested and charged with extortion and bribery today. Officials say that they collected over $2 million in bribery money. Now, 66 of the 70 were arraigned here at federal court today, and each of them were released on a $50,000 bond, but had to hand over their passports.
That's classic pay to play. And this culture of corruption at NYCHA ends today.
It was a 70-person takedown by the feds. Officials say all NYCHA superintendents and assistant superintendents.
The 70 defendants charged today allegedly used their jobs at NYCHA to line their own pockets.
66 of the 70 were arrested Tuesday morning in several cities, including New York City, New Jersey, Connecticut, and North Carolina, for allegedly accepting cash payments from contractors in exchange for awarding NYCHA contracts.
Now, some people I see in the chat is asking, well, what is NYCHA? NYCHA is the New York City Housing Authority. Yeah. Shout out to the K Godfather 21. You got it. It's the New York City Housing Authority. And so basically it's where you go to get government contracts, or when government contractors go in order to do the thing that's supposed to be for the residents, right? And so taxpayer dollars are often allocated, and then they want to award specific contracts, but then guess what? It's all pay to play. Let me tell you something. Whenever you start to introduce money into things, you start to see what people's true character is. When you see money going into it, hey, I want to get this government contract. It's the reason why we're holding Fani Willis accountable with regard to Nathan Wade, because when you start to introduce taxpayer dollars or money into something in general, you start to see the true nature of people come out. And so when you have these public positions, or when you have authority to allocate resources, contractors, who you hiring, when you start to get in a position to hire people or determine their salaries, you become a lot more responsible for the well-being, and you have to be responsible with that power, because with great power comes great responsibility. And so when these people are in these positions, they are leveraging these positions in order to get free stuff, payments on the side, tickets, vacations, all of that. And it's outside of what is ethical with regard to how it is that they're allocating taxpayer dollars and using it to make sure that the people are taken care of. They're using it in order to get rich. That's why I'm going to become a politician when I decide to go ahead and retire from being a content creator. Yeah, that's the play. Become a politician. Take the Nancy Pelosi rule book and then apply it to your life. Anyways, in addition to that, we'll dig into that another day. In addition to that, New York City continuing to do the worst thing for y'all as far as the New York Public Housing Department or Authority or whatever it is that you want to call it. Chicago. Listen. I've given Chicago a break this week, but it's some stories I just cannot ignore. There are some things in Chicago I cannot ignore, honestly. And I want y'all to actually be on my team on this one, because I've given y'all a real break this week. I haven't said anything about Chicago, but it's some things I just cannot ignore. For real. Seriously, this is bad, y'all. Got to check it out. Take a look.
Ravi, this is the stretch of Lawrence Avenue where that young mother was attacked 2 separate times on her way to work just a little more than a week ago. Now, after speaking with them this afternoon and seeing the video, her family realizes how close she came to perhaps dying in that attack.
Adriana points to the spots where she says 3 men held handguns against her, screaming at her to hand over anything she had. Speaking to us late this afternoon, the family asked us to conceal their faces for their own safety.
The 3 of them had the gun and they pointed at her head, her neck.
This is Adriana walking west on Lawrence Avenue, headed to work last Monday morning in the middle of the night. A few strides in, a dark sedan screeches along the sidewalk and 4 people bail out, surround her, shove, manhandle and strip the 35-year-old woman of her cell phone, her wallet, and a few other things. The 4-on-1 attack plays out for 2 solid minutes. Until today, Adriana, her husband, and 12-year-old daughter had no idea this video of the entire attack existed. They watched it with tears streaming down their faces.
She's really brave, that's for sure. She says she feels brave because of us, me and my daughter. Otherwise, she would have made it.
After the attackers speed off, Adriana ran into the street waving and screaming desperately. A city bus and 2 passing cars never so much as pause. That's when the 4 attackers return for a replay.
They told her that they were gonna shoot her if she didn't give her the credit card pin. The next time they came, she thought that they were gonna kill her for the same reason.
Adriana says she survived with the strength of her singular focus, her family.
Listen. Let's put this in perspective. You're walking to work or walking home, okay? You're walking to work and you're walking home. Black sedan pull up on you. Everybody got a pistol with switches on it. And they basically shaking you down and they taking everything you got. They drive off. This is Chicago, right in the city of Chicago, where they're having large gatherings. Remember that? They drive off. Now, remember, all of these different carjackings and stuff, nobody is ever getting arrested. Everybody keeps saying that, you know, everything is good and all of that, but nobody's actually getting arrested, okay? They drive off. You wave for help. The bus ain't stopping. Cars ain't stopping. Ain't nobody stopping to help you. They know not to stop, especially for the people that's in the middle of the street. Don't matter who you are, if you're a woman, man, kid, nobody is stopping, okay? Remember just a month ago, it was a baby walking around and somebody had to call the police in order to pick the baby up. This is the times we live in. The criminals drive away. Then they come back. And then they go out and they pull their pistols out again and they say, listen, what's the PIN number to your debit cards, your credit cards, and everything? We need everything. We want the PIN number. We forgot to get the PIN number from you because we were so busy shaking you down. They come back to get your PIN number because they know ain't nobody stopping for you wherever it is that they shook you down at, and all you was doing was walking down the street to try to get to wherever it is that you was going. I need somebody from Chicago to sit here and tell me that I'm crazy for bringing y'all to the front of the congregation because of what it is that we see happening in these streets. Look, we know that crime happens everywhere. That's not even a debate. Crime happens everywhere. But this is crazy. Somebody said, but why the bus didn't stop? What, you think that they ain't trying to get home to they people the same way that you are? Being a bus driver is just as dangerous, if not more, than being a police officer in Chicago at this point. You can't even be a Uber or Lyft driver or a DoorDasher without getting shook down. This is crazy. Cat Eye says, this sounds a little sus to me. What sounds sus to you? I don't understand. The fact that they have it on camera that she's walking home and getting robbed, and then they come back and they show the bus continue to drive by her when she's waving her hands in the air. They have it all on surveillance camera. What is so sus about it? I don't understand. You don't believe it. You don't believe it because it was black people, and you know your black people wouldn't do that to nobody else? Shh. Y'all don't believe it. You're not going to believe it till it's you, and then ain't nobody going to stop for you. I I got you.